At half-time in this P-Cube sponsored varsity match, Cambridge ahead by 16 points to 8. And you've got to take your hats off to the sponsors as well. The 12th year in a row this company has sponsored this competition, one of the game's longest running sponsorships in actual fact, rugby league's longest running sponsorships. And it's Cambridge who are ahead. And Cambridge who are ahead in the overall count of 30 varsity matches. 16 to them, 12 to Oxford, the one draw in 1994. And as usual, a good crowd, a boisterous crowd as well. They've been here in the bar downstairs and just enjoying the atmosphere. And now set to enjoy the second half with this game very much in the balance. Oxford have got at least a foothold in the game, but Cambridge looking to reassert their authority, and significantly James Shearman is back out there for the Light Blues.
That's it, Bill. He sent it. John Evans has sent James Sherman back on because they were really in control of the game. Oxford started to get back into the game when he left the pitch. But Dan Garbutt, the Oxford coach, was saying, give yourselves a chance. In the first half, you missed 13 tackles and you made 8 handling errors. You cannot do that against this Cambridge outfit.
Here's Marcus Alexander-Neil then, the guy whose 2 tries has given the Dark Blues a bit of hope here. Now Charlie Thompson, good strong running bench player Charlie Thompson on the last. Here is Swanson. Swanson again hoists that kick. And Stetchman couldn't go for that one. He's going to let it run though.
It was a good point that John Wells made, and perhaps one that we didn't consider, that it may be the first time that many of these players have played under lights, played under the conditions that they're in at the moment, but he also mentioned how much defence Oxford had to do. Up until half-time, they'd done 133 tackles. Cambridge had only done over 80, so the energy battle so far being won, you would imagine, by Cambridge.
Interesting to get a winger's perspective on this game occasionally.
What are you saying?
They tend to look up occasionally.
Give me a minute. I'll think.
Well, it's the Light Blues in possession now. There certainly is a bit more zip about this Oxford side. They really did look pretty demoralised after that traumatic start to the game when they conceded those points. And they're not going to allow Shearman to make as much progress as he did. They can't afford that.
And there always is, Bill. You get a bit of direction when you go in at half-time. The coach gets you together as a group. He tells you where you're going wrong, what he wants you to do in that second half. And it also gives you time to re-energise.
So Oxford in possession. Let's go down to the sidelines and hear from Brian Carney, who's close to the action.
Well, John Evans, the Cambridge coach, he's trying to shore up the right edge defence. He's made a substitution accordingly. What he wants to do is his team to finish. I beg your pardon, he wants his team to play like they did in the first 15 minutes of the game with the same intensity. Conversely, Dan Garbutt, the Oxford coach, he wants his team to continue like they did in the last vein of form in the last 10 minutes of the first half. So there's a bit of contrasting information coming back from the coaches. One's looking for a repeat of the start of the first half, one's looking for a repeat of the end of the first half.
Well, it's Oxford in possession. Looking to carry on where they left off at the end of that first half. Swanson's kick is not a good one, and that's going to go out of play on the full.
Again, putting the ball as high as they can, looking to put as much pressure as they can on the Cambridge winger. On that occasion, there was just too much on it, went into touch. But it's interesting what Brian's saying there. When both the coaches were saying that they were in total control, they were controlling the ball, they were getting through the set to 6, and they were forcing the opposition into making errors. And that's what they've got to do in this second half.
So Cambridge in possession in this varsity match, and there's another varsity match coming up next week at the Willows. It's the Northwest varsity match between Manchester and Salford universities, and that should be a good game as well. Last year Salford won 11-10, and Manchester looking for revenge. Manchester coached by Gareth Hargreaves, brother of Saints Bryn Hargreaves, while Salford are coached by the former Red Danny Barton. So that's at the Willows, and next Monday in actual fact here at the Stoop it's the 30th varsity match, and Cambridge are on the attack. And Cushing hoisting that kick. Doesn't get great depth, but it is taken by his teammate Paddy Goff, but Goff is soon tackled by Swanson. That'll be the turnover.
Cambridge up challenging for that ball, but interesting to note that George Sykes, during that last set of 6, came out, went right back up the guts. He got a lot of joy there, scoring 2 tries early on in the first half.
Here's Johnny Hawkins. Paul O'Connor.
Good arm.
McCormick did well to take that one off the ground. O'Connor in there. Real live wire of a player, Paul O'Connor. No wonder they call him the mouth. McCormick. Barker plays the ball. That's the 5th tackle. And Swanson hit the kicker is the cry you probably heard, but they didn't manage to. And on the end of it was Rob Cox, and he's made a hash of that. So the tables perhaps are turned.
And just a simple set of 6 from Oxford. James Baxton getting off the wing. He's coming in field. He's looking to put pressure on Rob Cox. Rob Cox has a little look. Just fumbles the ball and again gives all the field position to this Oxford side.
Hit the kicker. I might just explain that. That's not an act of violence, Bill. What they're trying to do is put pressure on that kicker and take the time away so he can't choose the spot where he kicks it.
McCormick, here's Marcus Alexander-Neil, but that pass was forward.
Well, at first they thought they got away with the knock-on. Then it's the forward pass that the refs pulled them back for. In a good attacking position on the park to come up with them mistakes is criminal for Dan Carver.
So Oxford squander that position, and Cambridge have the ball back. 6.5 minutes gone in this second half, and no threat to either try line so far, but James Sherman trying to do something about that.
There's the danger man, the Shermanator, right back up the guts. And again, short passes right back up at that block hole. On that occasion, they can't get back in time, and Oxford give away the penalty.
And that's all come from the big surge off James Sherman. They cannot get set, they can't get back, and then all of a sudden, they give the penalty away because they're trying to control the Cambridge side. James Sherman, he's a real big plus. Here he is again.
Had a brief spell playing for St Ives Roosters in the summer conference, James Sherman, and will be playing this weekend for the South of England students in a fixture down here in London. So he's a busy rugby league player as well as a busy student. But it's Cambridge on the attack now with Ben Miller. Miller plays the ball just short of that try line. Cushing, Rupert Wingate-Saul now puts the brakes on, almost through a gap there. Good tackle by Henshaw. Looking for a quick play the ball they were that time, but that's good defence off the line from Swanson. On his opposite number, Rupert Wingate-Saul was all over him there. The pass over the top. There's Cushing, and Cushing steps on the gas. First time we've seen it there, but that's the last. That'll be the turnover.
Clever little play by Cushing. He shaped a kick. He saw that the Oxford defence had pushed up. Did they push up too much? No, the inside defence just had him covered. Again, it's that man Baxton getting back in, but he's been dominated by the Shermanator.
Marcus Alexander-Neil plays the ball. Hugh McCormick now. There's Josh Holstead back on the field. Holstead plays the ball. McCormick, that's a great pass, finds Swanson, but good tackle on Swanson. It needed to be, because he was almost away there, and it was Stetchman who just clung onto his boot. And the pass goes behind Calvley. It's retrieved by McCormick, but they've lost momentum there. Here is the captain, Paddy Boyle, and that's good work from Boyle. 4 of them to stop him. Swanson, looping pass over the top. trying to give it some air, or does give it some air.
It's last tackle.
That'll be the turnover.
That's last tackle. Good work from Cambridge there. All over the Oxford player, like two nuns having a bath. They wouldn't let him get that ball away.
Here's Angus Sanders. We haven't seen a lot of the winger. He does like to scoot. Another good run from Ben Miller.
Move with me. 10, you're off, 10.
Shearman barges his way forward. Tackled by Charlie Linton. McCormick there as well. Oh, and then Sweeney went without that one, the former Blackrock College pupil.
Cambridge are putting themselves under pressure. They're going up in ones now. They're starting to get a bit tired. Oxford's starting to get back into this game. A little simple catch. You've got to make sure you concentrate, catch the ball before you set your angle of line.
Here's Neil. 2 tackles gone. Still yet to have a point scored in this second half. The penalty offside against Cambridge.
And this time it's Cambridge that can't get back. Oxford starting to get that roll on. They're going from short passes, short drives, to long passes with width and causing Cambridge just that little bit of indecision in defence. Dan Garb up there, trying to get a message down to his Oxford side. They need to pour some points here.
Well, it's Oxford now in a great position here, and here is Swanson. Swanson for Halstead, and Halstead barging run from the prop forward. Plays the ball to Swanson, and Swanson a little step. They saw that coming, and he's held up on his back, I think, just short of the try line. But that's a short pass, and that again is good defence.
It's a try.
Has Sweeney got that ball down? He has. I beg your pardon, it's Greg Coates who's got that ball down. And Oxford get first points in the second half. Coates it is. Another one who's visited the Barbers prior to the game.
Nice short passes. Coates again, just brute strength, tries to get over. But it was Ross Swanson who got Oxford in this position. Nice and simple. The closer you are to your opponent's line, the better your chance. Look at this right foot step, testing that inside defence. He commits 3 defenders now. There's got to be a gap somewhere. 3 defenders all looking at the ball, and there's the gap. Still had a bit of work to do once he got over the line.
Swanson has converted the try, and Oxford really are back in the hunt now. They've turned the table, 16-0 down. It's now Oxford 14, Cambridge 16.
Swanson's got a real bag of tricks, and they look really dangerous when they get down here. Too big, too strong. Greg ought to score that try, and you can see what it means to Dan Garber.
Greg Coates, the Oxford University Rugby League Club social secretary this season, will be celebrating that try. Here is McCormick now.
He's a big lad for a standoff, him.
Yeah, he is, Hugh McCormick, in his second varsity match. His third varsity match, this will be in actual fact.
Studying political theory.
He has, and he's been doing it for 7 years. Now that takes some doing.
Yeah. I'd have a job for 7 minutes, me, but...
With McCormick now. Here is Halstead. Halstead keeping the ball alive. Venner is back on that forehead bandaged. On the halfway line, that's the 4th tackle. Let's go to the sidelines, hear from Brian.
Yeah, both Terry and Barry have mentioned Ross Swanson. If they're going to get back into this game and take the lead, he's going to be vital. He took the line onto the last place. He took the line onto the play leading up to that try. He's been resting out 2 in defence, even off scrums, so he should be playing with a lot of energy. He hasn't been forced to do any tackles. Cambridge haven't managed to get to him. So I think all his Oxford players are turning around, looking to Ross Swanson to push them into this game.
Well, Swanson with this penalty into the corner, and that pushes Cambridge right back to their own try line. And let's see what Oxford can do with this. There's Venner back on the field, forehead strapped. On the charge, Charlie Linton, and Linton legs driving. It's Tom Barker, legs driving. very close to the try line. Venner pops it up, looking for another one for Coates. Coates is driven back.
Swanson's telling his forwards to get in. He wants some foils. He wants the ball with some space.
McCormick trying to get it to him, but McCormick going across the field and looking to link up. He has linked up here. Henshaw, he's tackled. 3 tackles gone. Oxford looking to go in front for the first time in the game. Here is Swanson, and Swanson has ghosted through. Been looking for that opportunity all night. The Dark Blues number 7, and he's finally found his opportunity. And Cambridge, having led and been in charge early on, now find themselves trailing for the first time tonight. And Swanson getting his try.
I thought Josh Venner had made the wrong decision to run on the 5th tackle, but the marker wasn't set. The referee saw it and gave the penalty. And Swanson's been out of the back, just scheming, trying to get people to run away from the ball and give him a bit of time and space. And when he has, it's very dangerous.
He's also a dangerous kicker as well. He's converted his own try, and Oxford are ahead by 20 points to 16.
Ross Swanson's having a field. He's exploiting the quick play the balls that his teams are getting, and you can just see he's just too nimble on those feet. Look at the ball, he has a little look up, double pumps it, takes the ball and gets good field position and scores under the sticks.
Former Harrow School pupil studying psychology now, Ross Swanson. Has played rugby league before as a junior at Kingston-on-Thames, but pretty new to the game at this level, at student level, but obviously suited to it. McCormick, and it's been really since about the 30-minute mark, it has been virtually all Oxford University, and Cambridge have let their grip slip. And surprisingly, Batstone hasn't been anywhere near the try scorers so far, James Batstone. Batman will strike, that is certain. Here's Paddy Boyle, he's another old Harrovian. Boyle plays the ball. McCormick back on the inside to O'Connor. They've got O'Connor and Venner out there now, have the Dark Blues. And here is Swanson, and Swanson with the kick. Underneath it is Cox, makes sure that one goes backwards. Oh, but then it's fumbled by Angus Sanders. And the penalty, in fact, for offside.
A bit of passion coming in from both sides. Rob Cox is really struggling to catch these high balls. You can see the height of this, he doesn't look confident.
Would you go for 2?
Was it Cox who was offside? And I think Swanson is going to go for 2.
He showed a good technique, to be fair. He had his shoulders in his body facing his line in case it did bobble.
Yeah, Cox came from an offside position to try and gather that ball. And really, it's all gone wrong for Cambridge. He looked so comfortable at 16-0 up.
And Swanson's having a real big influence in this game. That's his 7th attacking kick, and every one of them is putting pressure on Rob Cox.
Two from 4 so far for Ross Swanson with the boots. This bang in front of the posts. He thumps into the vacant stand here at the Stoop. 22-16. Oxford now lead. Well, it was always a gamble. Well, it seemed a gamble, plucking Swanson from the rugby union fraternity, the double blue, and plunging him into the varsity match. But with a player of this talent, it's worth taking the risk.
Bill, you can just tell in a training session, and Dan Garbutt would have looked at him along with his teammates, and you can just tell that he's got something. He can play the game. The way he's bossing his big forwards around, the way he's organising his shape out wide with his outside backs. A real good player.
Well, now it's Cambridge's turn to regroup.
Hold.
But Oxford have had all the possession. Here is Batstone. Marvellous nickname James Batstone has. He has a sort of Christ-like visage to him if you look at him, and he's known to his teammates as Run Straight Jesus.
Well, he'll be my mum's favourite player then.
And he does. If he runs straight, he is pretty effective. But Oxford, a rare error really for them. They've squandered possession and Cambridge have it back.
And that's the confidence. Ross Swanson getting his arm free, getting the ball around the Cambridge defender and looking to send his centre away.
Cambridge now just have to try and regroup. Long way to go in this game yet, into coming up to the final quarter. And only the 6 points in it, so all hope is not lost for the Light Blues. Winners, remember, last year. Here is Sherman, and if anybody can galvanise them, it is there at number 8. John Evans certainly hoping so. 11 years John Evans has been doing this job, and as mentioned earlier on, he's leaving it in a full-time post, but he'll still carry on in part-time capacity.
Oh, drop goal.
He's gone to just hoist that one in actual fact, and Calverley is underneath it.
He was very far back. I thought he was setting up for a drop
It did look
goal.
like it, Cushing, but in the end it was hoisted right underneath those posts, and Calverley was there to collect it.
And that was a real good kick, that. He put the ball up as high as he could. He aimed it for the sticks. So the full-back for Oxford, Ben Calverley, did he have a bit of an interference with the goalpost? Could he see that ball? But he'd come up with a real big play and call that ball on the full.
Marcus Alexander-Neil plays the ball. Certainly one of the factors for Oxford getting back into this game. His 2 tries towards the end of that first half. Boyle again, legs driving.
He's worked hard in his 2 stints.
There is Neil. Here is Calverley. Calverley gets the ball out wide. Oh, they've gone without it.
And a little shove in his back for his trouble.
Mentioned the fact that it's the Northwest varsity match next week. Manchester against Salford. A big week again for the British University's college sport. There's the error. The ball going out of play. It's Leeds Met against Loughborough at Headingley on March the 11th. The final in the Bucks competition. A repeat of last year's final, which was won by Leeds. So that is a big game at Headingley coming up next week. So a lot of action in the student rugby league world at the moment. It's not just about this varsity match. There's the Northwest varsity match. Leeds against Loughborough, the 2 Super 8 clubs battling it out in the Bucks final. Cambridge now enjoying a bit of possession for a change. Sykes, his 2 tries seem to have really put Cambridge on the road earlier on, but
Oh, there was an overlap there.
Cushing chose to come in field. Here is Sykes now. Wingate Saul. Sherman.
It looked dangerous when Sykes comes out of dummy half and really takes the line on.
That's on the last, and again Cushing stands well back, hoists this kick into space, and nobody wanted it. Oh, nicely done.
That was a great ball.
Well, that was Ross Swanson showing his skills again. The little ricochet into the hands of his full back.
I've seen him.
He's got all the tricks.
He was working on that before the game. Practice makes perfect. Look at that. What a ball. What vision.
And they get the penalty.
It was Frank Sanders who gives this penalty away.
It's O'Connor coming out from dummy half, I think. When both sides have used that, when they tried to play with speed, they've caused their opposition trouble.
Neil now takes the tap from the penalty.
That's a big penalty.
Another one, back-to-back penalties and the high shot. I think the referee wants a word.
Just struggling to control the speed of the play of the ball, and he chooses to do his impression of Randy Couture. Right around the throat.
So back-to-back penalties have pushed Cambridge back down the field.
Come on, get on, come on.
Here's Halstead. Looking for a quick play the ball. Venner now. Beats the first tackle, beats the second, Josh Venner. He's been off the field for a while.
There's that dummy half run again.
Now Swanson. Long looping pass, finds Hugh McCormick. McCormick trying to take him on himself, takes the tackle. Alex Spain it was who brought him down. Swanson will get a second. Made that look so easy, stepped inside the defence. And another class showing there from Ross Swanson. And the decision to play this guy has paid off. And Swanson has turned the tables on their opponents tonight for the Dark Blues.
From the resulting penalty, there you see Rupert Wingate's off and an illegal tackle, and the footwork on this fella's phenomenal. Lovely right foot step right into that gap, just catches that inside defender napping. And look, have a look at it again. Ball in two hands, steps back in. Great work.
Looking to add the conversion. This one is on target. Again, just short. Can't get the distance this evening, Ross Swanson. He's furious about that, but he's got a lot else to be pleased about.
But he's getting the 4 points, and it was real good build-up play. First by Josh Halstead, then by Josh Bennett, who got out from dummy half. The Cambridge defence couldn't get back, and then that man, Ross Swanson, again, change of tempo in his run, just bamboozling this Cambridge defence.
So, Oxford really floundering early on. Have really come back with a vengeance. 26-16 they lead, 16-0 down, and 26 unanswered points has turned the table here at the Stoop, and still we haven't had a try from Batstone.
Still plenty of time left in this game. John Evans will be getting the message, just calm down, let's camp out at the other end of the pitch. And Brian Chambers, who I know one of the coaches that helped me and Terry O'Connor very early on in our career, and he actually came down in the same car as you, Terry. He's worked with them, he knows what they expect from this match. He'll be using his experience.
Forward pass, and Halstead and his Cambridge rival just having an exchange of views there. I think it was Paddy Goff.
And this is what Cambridge have got. They've got to make sure that they keep the focus and keep the discipline on getting back into this game. They're 10 points behind on the score sheet. They can't go rushing and giving penalties away. They're in good field position. What can they do?
They need something from Greg Cushing. He can galvanise a side. We really haven't seen much of him this evening. Cushing hasn't had an opportunity to show his skills, and he can be the match of Swanson. Here's Sherman now. Sherman, though, going backwards, does well to get that ball away into the hands of Stetchman, and Stetchman is clashed by Hugh McCormick. And McCormick then just made sure that he wasn't getting up quickly. That was a big hit. How about that for a standoff?
I'm going to guess that he doesn't play standoff regular, mate. I've watched him with the ball in his hand. It's just a shoulder charge. Knocks him right off his feet. Really cleaned his clocks.
Angus Sanders now. Sanders plays the ball. Cushing, again, just trying to prise open a gap, but there's nothing doing for him there. Good defence. Halstead in there. So is Henshaw, and that's on the last. It'll be the turnover. They're losing their way, Cambridge.
He's got to have a few more options inside and out. When he takes that ball to the line, real big defence by Josh Halstead. Cushing took the ball, and Halstead just got him in his targets, and he wasn't releasing hold of him.
Matt Comyn with the tackle. He's an interesting character, the number 16 for Cambridge. He's a pentathlete, he's a mountain climber, and he fancies a bit of rugby league as well. Here is McCormick, back on the inside, and like for like from James Sherman.
Sherman now trying to be the dominant force in this team for Cambridge.
Big hit on Ollie Nash there. Swanson again doing well to step out of trouble and get the ball out wide. That's good defence. Great defence from Cambridge. Good tackle by Sanders.
But the defence now from Cambridge, they're hurrying Oxford into making decisions that they weren't making early on in this second half. Starting to force the error just because they're getting up in the face.
is Frank Sanders. But Cambridge, if they are going to get back into this game, needs something pretty soon. Matt Comyn now. 4 tackles gone. Sherman, urgency from him. That looked high, it was high. Ollie Nash, the culprit.
Get out of there.
And words said again, and Olstead is in there. Oh, it's going to get tasty, I think, here in the last 10 minutes or so. Don't go away.
Well, big Ollie Nash didn't miss him then. Just clocked him just under the eyebrows. Cambridge get the penalty. Just over 10 minutes left, 10 points behind. They just need to be more relentless. They've got to stick to it. Stick to the game plan, try and get over the line, but just keep on targeting the same areas. Try and break down this Oxford defence.
Sykes with blood coming from that cut on his ear. And the penalty will be pushed into the corner.
He'll be telling his big players to get him some big go forward. Get the Oxford defence going backwards so he can really explode them again.
Sherman will try and do that with the drive. Close to the line there. George Sykes, 2 tries already. But no joy for him there.
It's a quick play the ball they need rather than territory.
Sanders likes to go from close range, but again, good defence from Oxford. Boyle leading the way for his side there. Sykes. Cushing, and Cushing is through the gap. This time he's found the space. We said he had the ability to do it. And the Flying Vicar has taken off. And Cambridge aren't out of this one yet. Well, he just needed the opportunity. And that time, the Oxford defence just left him a little gap and he was through.
He had all the options available, 2 drop-off players, and a wrong decision from an Oxford defender. Just watch this, he shows, steps and goes. Marcus Alexander-Neil just grasping at thin air. He says, come on, we're still in it.
And he's the kicker as well. I should just explain the Flying Vicar reference, that he is a theology student and also is a very active Christian and is destined for the clergy, but he's destined for greatness in the eyes of Cambridge University Rugby League if his try and conversion can salvage something from this game for them. 26-22. There's only been 1 draw in the history of varsity rugby league before. Back in 1994, 22 points apiece. Let's go down to the sidelines here from Brian now.
Well, Bill, it's good to see him get in eventually. Twice he was caught on the last tackle. What we want to see is a bit more from Wingate, Rupert Wingate Sorrell on the last tackle. He's left it all up to Greg Cushing. Twice he's been caught on the last tackle, 3rd time lucky.
26-22. 8 minutes to go. And Oxford aren't home and dry yet. Cambridge aren't out of it yet.
And that shows how real hard it is to defend. When you've got a man who's carrying the ball and he's holding it in 2 hands, he's got options inside and out. It's really tough to defend.
Just over 7 minutes left, Fez. Who's your money on? Who would you go for?
You've got to say that Cambridge are getting back into this game, Barry.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you and go for Oxford just because you've said Cambridge.
Well, Cambridge are in possession and they have had the better of things in the last 10 minutes or so. Oxford dominating early on in this second half. And the referee saying he called held just before
I'd like to
Matt
see that
Comyn
again.
got the ball away, and Comyn not impressed with that decision.
I'd like to see that again. It's a good shot, full-blooded shot.
Oh,
I don't know,
That was
it's
hard
50-50.
he was still going to
He
ground.
still wasn't going. Look,
No
his
elbows
elbows
on the
haven't even
floor,
touched
no.
the ground. Still going forward, turned, spun out the tackle, offloaded the ball.
And Oxford get head and feed. Well, that could be a contentious moment in this game.
5 meters! 5 meters! Heads in, heads in. So,
Oxford then in possession. Here is Hugh McCormick. Misses out one man, finds Marcus Alexander-Neal, gets the ball out wide to O'Connor. O'Connor is in touch.
Good defence. Good defence by Cambridge. And it was always going to be, what was the reaction going to be like to defend? There he goes.
You've got to stay on the island. His blue suede shoes just slipped over the line there.
Suddenly there's a bit of urgency about Cambridge. Below us, he's just below us, John Evans, the Cambridge coach. You can hear him screaming, form the scrum, get the clock stopped. And they were dithering around there. Eventually the clock is stopped. They have head and feed. Time is not on their side. 6 minutes to go.
It's still a long time, that, Bill.
Oxford ahead.
They've had the majority of possession, so they'll be really fresh. Here's Sherman.
Just over the halfway line. It's with Ben Miller.
This Cambridge side, they can't be waiting back for the next play. They've got to push up in support of the teammate.
George Lang plays the ball. Here's Miller once again, straight up the middle. That's the fifth tackle. Now then, Greg Cushing again, stepping back. A little chip and chase from Cushing this time. Across comes Calverley, takes it well, but good chase from Cushing.
Calverley had to be brave then. Cushing was putting all pressure on him. Little chip kick over the line. Come bursting through, but Calverley was up to that challenge. Look at this, didn't take his eyes off the ball. Good play by Ben Calverley.
Former Greenhead College pupil in Huddersfield, Ben Calverley.
O'Connor was very explosive coming out of dummy half. He was playing at hooker late on in that first half, and they'd stuck him out in the wing, and I think it's a waste. Coming in for work though.
Josh Venner. Change of direction. Swanson trying to go for a gap again, but Oxford really don't need to chance their arm. They're just got to keep cool. They lead by 26 points to 22.
And they've also got to be very disciplined. You cannot give penalties away.
McCormick's kick is not a good one, and it's taken by Angus Sanders, and Sanders across the field, but the tackle on the chase by Nash, and Nash made his mark there. And Angus Sanders is all over the shop.
It looks like Bandy. I think that's a touch of cramp rather than anything to worry about. Yeah, the physio just bending his foot back.
Here's Matt Comyn now.
That's how you get rid of cramp. Push the toes down.
And there's that penalty, Bill.
Cambridge get the penalty. 3.5 minutes to go. There's cramp all over the place. There's 2 Cambridge players down with cramp at the moment, as we see the penalty incident.
Too much in that tackle for referee Tim Roby. 2 Cambridge players down in back play.
Miller now.
Stretching exercise.
Miller is tackled. Here's Charlie Sorensen. 2 tackles gone. Sherman now takes him on himself. Here is Cushing again, whose try has given Cambridge some hope here, but time is against them now. Sykes. Rupert Wingate-Saul. Little chip ahead from Wingate-Saul. Calverley takes it, but takes the tackle as well. And great tackle it was from Matt Comyn. Wingate-Saul in there as well.
And again, Calverley really brave. Neat little kick by Saul.
And Angus Sanders has had to leave the field. His cramp is so bad. But meanwhile, it's a goal line dropout. So all sorts going on here.
Get in behind.
Referee has stopped the clock. Goal line dropout. Oxford clinging on to the lead here. Not a good restart. Taken by Mark Sweeney. Mark Sweeney, a Great Britain student international pioneer. There's Sanders, I think it is. Sweeney plays for the Great Britain Pioneers, or has played for the Pioneers in Oslo last year in an international. Here's Shearman now. Shearman driving towards the line, and the Pioneers will be in Kazakhstan later this year. They get all over the place. Rugby league forever spreading to exotic places, 200 miles from the border with China. Here in London, it's Oxford against Cambridge in the varsity match. And Oxford are just ahead, but Cambridge trying to salvage something here. A draw, perhaps, maybe even a win. Sykes gets the ball away, but it's not a good pass. It's on the last, and this is desperate stuff from Cambridge. Needs to be a good kick. Cushing, not one of the best, and surely that'll be diffused. It is by Swanson.
Very fitting that Ross Swanson just diffuses that bomb, taking away all the pressure. He's had a fantastic game. Made all the right decisions for a bloke that hasn't got a lot of experience in rugby league. He's been very cool, very calm. Come up with a couple of crucial tries, and Oxford just need to get away from their own line.
Venner. Into the last minute here, and Oxford are going to close the gap still further. Cambridge ahead at the moment in terms of varsity matches won 16-12, but Dan Garbutt's side on the threshold of victory here. Beaten last year in this match, 20 points to 4, and looking to avenge that, and they're close to doing that now. They've come back from 16-0 down to lead 26-22. Swanson, star of this second half performance, hoists the kick and will get surely the hat-trick from his own kick to round this victory off. Cambridge dejected, Oxford jubilant, the hooter sounding, and surely this will go down as Swanson's match. We've had Drysdale's match in the past in 2005 when Cambridge won. Tonight, Ross Swanson, not single-handedly, because this has been a wholehearted effort from this Oxford side, but he has been instrumental.
Look at the height on this kick. He kicks it, he chases. I thought there might have been a case for the Oxford player. It's O'Connor just getting in front of the Cambridge kick diffuser. But look at that, he bangs that ball down, gets the victory. Watch this. And Oxford take the match.
Swanson has converted his own try, and Cambridge desolate, having seen victory taken from their grasp by a storming fight back from the Dark Blues. Cushing trying his best with that try to give Cambridge some hope, but Oxford had the last word, and it just had to be Ross Swanson, who took his time to make his mark on the game, but he's certainly done that in this second half. A hat-trick of tries, and Oxford, as I say, beaten last year, have regained the KJ Lee trophy, and what a performance it has been from the men in dark blue. They were 16-0 down, and we're all over the place early on, you have to say that.
Yeah, they were. That man, Ross Swanson, he had an absolute field day in that second half. His kicking game was exceptional. His goal forward, he took the line on, the ball in two hands. The Oxford players looked really happy. A real powerful game. Cambridge looked really dejected. They're all in a huddle. But you've got to say that this Oxford side deserved a win.
And Ross Swanson surely deserved his Man of the Match award, which he'll get now with Brian Carney.
Well, Ross Swanson 16-0 down after 20 minutes. What were you thinking?
Okay, I thought we were done for, to be honest. I've been to a few varsity matches in uni as well, and like won one and lost one, but they've been pretty hairy. I thought 16-0 down was kind of dead and buried. We were looking pretty shoddy as well. But fortunately, like, we actually pulled together, as we have done throughout the season at times, and I'm glad it came together on a big day.
Well, on about the 20-minute mark, you put in a kick and a phenomenal chase after that, and that seemed to turn around and invigorate your team. You got back into it. It's on the back of that you got Man of the Match award. Can you remember the incident?
Yeah, vaguely. I think it was a pretty shocking kick, so I thought I had to probably make amends for it. But yeah, I guess it is kind of small moments that kind of bring people together, and I think this team's kind of definitely one for that, where I mean, at times when the heads go down, we all go down, and then we put like pretty rubbish passes together for 16-0. But then we showed like real heart, and I think scored what 4 or 5 tries in the bounce. I think that just shows like kind of what resilience we had, really.
You personally, we didn't see much of you for the first quarter of the game, but you really injected yourself in the second half. You started to take the line on. Was that a conscious decision?
Yeah, I think we've got quite a few ball players in our team, and I guess it seems to be a character of like both codes of rugby at Cambridge. They play pretty tight one-up rugby, and I think we realised that we're not going to beat them in that kind of just a straight-up fight, but we could go around them and hopefully kind of get some good ball play. So I thought Hugh McCormick, the other pivot, was fantastic. Really kind of controlled the game well and gave us presence out wide.
And the goal kicking, you managed to get one over there in the end.
Yeah. I'm going to blame the ball, actually. Some of them were quite straight, but I just seemed to have a little pop gun on me today. But yeah, fortunately it didn't come down to that in the end.
Well, listen, congratulations, you're man of the match. Very well done, and congratulations on winning the game. We're going to go and speak to the winning coach here now. Congratulations, sir. Tell me what you were thinking after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, pretty disappointed, pretty angry at them, really. But I thought that, you know, all season they've actually had a bit of dog in them and actually worked really hard. And I sort of always knew they'd have it. Although Tom, who was sat up with me, would probably say differently when I was going, oh God, we're done for, really. But yeah, great performance, great comeback, and I think they sort of showed, I think they just thought, let's play a little bit more rugby, let's chuck it around a bit, you know. So it probably does some good in a way, you know, because we thought we could actually just play a little bit.
Managed to speak to one of your coaching staff just at half-time, and he did believe you were the better footballing team. You thought that would always show through in the end, Dan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they, like I say, all season they've been chucking the ball around and playing a little bit of rugby and playing wide and expansive, and that's what they wanted to do, and actually look for runners. And you said about Ross taking on the line, he does that so well, as did Hugh, and he just took on the line, and yeah, it all went from there, really. Yeah.
What does a come from behind win like that tell you about the spirit you've got in this side, Dan?
Well, I already knew they had that. You know, they all season they've worked hard and they've been really solid in that sense, and they're a great bunch of mates as well. You know, which is often a sort of indicator for how good they're going to be as a team, really. You know, they spend a lot of time together, they work hard together, and they've always had that sort of spirit and that dog that's, you know, pulled them through today. Thankfully, they scared me though. To be fair, I was a bit scared at one point. So yeah.
Listen, thank you very much, and congratulations on winning back the title for Oxford.
Thank you, mate.
So Dan Garbett